David's Haunted Manor is back, and it needs more bodies. Are you interested in scaring teens and adults in a socially acceptable setting? Has Halloween always been your favorite time of year? Well, David's Haunted Manor wants you. If you're interested in volunteering at David's Haunted Manor for the 2023 season, contact us at davidshauntedmanor@gmail.com or message us on our social media pages at David's Haunted Manor. You do not need to be available for the whole season in order to volunteer. You must be 10 years old or older in order to volunteer with us. Actors, builders, and other volunteers are needed now. That contact information again is email at davidshauntedmanor@gmail.com and on our social media pages at David's Haunted Manor. Come be a part of the scare.
Oh, yeah. I stepped all over the end of that one. KFUG Community Radio, 2 minutes into the 10 o'clock hour. Paul Kritz with you. Community service, the show. We're starting off today's show Monday style with guests in the studio, seasonal guests, if you will, because 'tis the season already. It occurred to me as we approach the equinox later this week. I've got JoAnn and David Holcomb, the forces behind David's Haunted Manor. How you guys doing today?
Good.
Good, thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
So it's still summer, a few more days, but it's already haunt season for you guys. Is there a time of year when it isn't haunt season?
No.
We're always planning or
Always getting
shopping,
something.
yes.
Or tearing down and storing and then
Yes.
getting ready.
Basically, the haunt is filled with our home decor, and then after the haunt, it goes back to being home decor and Christmas decor and Easter decor and,
gosh.
whatever. Everything there's always a place for blood and guts in our home. So.
Wow. How long has the haunt been going on now?
Oh, it's been going on since about 1998.
98. Wow.
Yeah, it just was real small yard decorations. I handed out candy at my parents' house, and then it just took off.
Oh my gosh.
Parents helped me build it, and eventually we had about a 300-foot tent in the front yard. We had stretched over ropes from tree to tree, and then it was elaborate. It was a giant house tarp, and we had mazes and clowns and all the good stuff that we have now.
Chainsaws,
yes, and elaborate graveyards. It was fun, but then we expand. Then
in 2013, we were at the fairgrounds.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
2014, we were at the fairgrounds.
Was that the first year away from the house then?
Yes.
Doing
Yes.
it? Okay.
Yes,
okay.
it was.
And that's where I came in.
Okay.
So we met in 2013, and then 2013 was at the house. 2014 was at the fairgrounds the first time.
Yeah.
And then we were at the fairgrounds once more. We were at the England Marine building. We partnered with Friends of the Harbor for 2 years. And then we had the great pause during the pandemic where it was a very different time for everybody.
Sure.
And so we just stayed home until it was safe. And then in 2022, the Green family and the Elk Valley Rancheria were kind enough to open the old casino building, 2500 Howland Hill. And that's where we are again this year. So for the last 2 years, we've gone from the front yard of his parents' house to the dining room area of the fairgrounds, which is very small in comparison to where we are now.
Oh, the dining room.
We were just the dining room. We weren't even like the big building yet.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was our first attempt at being mobile and
Okay.
just like setting up somewhere else. And we'd set it up in a couple days, haunt for a couple days, tear it down for, it was a wham bam, thank you ma'am. And now the England Marine, we built for quite a bit of time. And then this one we're actually building now. And we have our volunteer signups tonight. They're tonight from 5 to 7, Wednesday night 5:30 to 7:30, and Saturday from...
It's like 10 to 4, right?
I'm blanking because I'm on the radio. I'm scared. From like 10 to 4. So all at 2500 Howland Hill. Come to the back of the building. Pacific Power is still in the process of moving out of the parking lot. So we're giving them their space to move their
And they're just about gone.
They
from what I
are.
see.
Yeah. There's only a couple things left. But we want to give them their space and not get in their way while they're moving their equipment around. And so you just come to the back of the building and we'll have information and signups and yeah.
How many people do you need to put on a haunt like this? I
think Adrian and I put the number up for our big full crew at 51.
Wow.
Yes. That's the primo. Yes, that's what we'd like.
Man.
And Adriana Harris, it has become our haunt bestie, and so she's there all the time, and she's doing all of our marketing, all of our social media, and she designed our poster this year.
That's wonderful.
Tells me what to do a lot as far as the social media, because I'm not very skilled in that. And then David is the builder, you know, the master builder, and I'll draw the map out, and then we, as a group, we've come together. There's a group of us, and we came up with ideas together. And you know, John Degler from Cobalt's Lair is one of our sponsors. We have Dark Lens Photography,
Of
like
course,
I said,
yes.
you know, amazing. Elk Valley Rancheria is letting us use the parking lot in the front, and the Green Family Trust gives us the building, you know, and it's like this whole communal, and Sebastian's been a part of it, and we have all these people that have we've done this little haunt village, and you know, I call it the haunt family, and we even sometimes do holidays together, some of us, and like
That's wonderful.
come together. And then actually it was really cool because one of our star volunteers this year is Mike Richter, and he heard about us last year when Adri was on interviewing for Dark Lens and mentioned the haunt, and literally came to the building to volunteer. He's like, hey, and this dude's like 6'4", and he plays Frankenstein like you wouldn't believe. And so he's been there building with us, and DJ Headcase is joining our crew this year, and he'll be straight clowning. And then we've got Adri's gonna be in it. She's an organizer. She's, you know, and Sebastian's in it. So John Degler does all of our sound.
He does sound for the
Cobalt's
entire
Lair.
county.
He pretty much is like the guy to go to for sound.
Yeah.
And he's been working with us since we were at the fairgrounds. Is that when we started working with John? When did we start with
fairgrounds
JD?
or the Inland Marine? I'm not
I can't remember if it was, but he's been with us a long time.
Oh, yeah.
And like, you know,
He's been part of us since the beginning too.
Yeah. No, he's a gem. And then Sebastian has been with us for a long time too, since we started at England Marine. So like when he was still a kid.
How did you get into it, Sebastian?
I don't remember. I just remember
It came
that
to
somebody
me in
was
a
saying
dream.
like, "Oh yeah, there's a haunted house in town."
Your
I'm like,
mom.
yeah, I know my mom brought me.
I knew your mom.
Oh, that's what
And
it was.
So I
Yep.
knew your mom, and your mom heard about it. Your mom came down and brought you because you were a minor and didn't have a choice.
I'm glad
Yeah.
we were able to recover this traumatic memory.
Yeah.
It wasn't that traumatic. I was just like, oh yeah, right. That is how that happened.
Yes. It was one of those you go where your parents take you.
Right.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah,
Well, we're
then
happy to keep him.
Yeah,
Sure.
and then I got swallowed by the haunt and did a bunch of stuff.
Yes. Continue to do a bunch of stuff.
Exactly.
Yes. And then Savannah Nozick will be back this year as Stitches the Clown. She was one of our MVPs last year. Very fun. She's super fun.
Fan favorite, perhaps.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, and she builds for us too.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
she's like all around and helps with makeup. Adri and I will be doing makeup. I do special effects more than I do makeup. I'm more of the person you come to when you want to look like part of your face is missing and your guts are hanging out. And then Adri and Savannah can make you look pretty.
Adri had that picture on Facebook a few days ago. Was that your work?
That
Did you
was
do that?
mine. Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we were. We each are experimenting with airbrush makeup techniques, and then that was me doing some latex and some putty.
Putty,
It's
right,
like
right.
it's like a wax, and it's yeah. So apparently it got quite the reaction on her Facebook page.
It
People
looked
were, like,
real.
wondering-
Yeah.
yeah. That's my goal. My goal is to disturb and make you go, is that, I mean, are you okay? And that's usually what happens when I share my photos.
David, if it helps at all, you can swing that microphone around so that you're not having to look
I see.
away, and
Oh, yeah, that
you can be a part of it. He's looking this way and off because he wants to be a part of the conversation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even look a little bit closer to you, just like that, and you can take it away. It should go anywhere you want it to go.
Right. Oh, I see.
So, what goes into the design of a haunt every year? What's that process? Is it a process, or is it just go, hey, I have a great idea?
Well, it's called a maze.
Yes.
And
So the maze is the haunt. Then is it always a maze? Then it's always moving through something like that, which is a classic sort of like almost like attraction haunted house kind of setup, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And each year we pick rooms, and then I will draw it on graph paper, like how to flow, what flows, what themes kind of flow into one another. You usually have. We always have a doll room. We always have a zombie scene. We have our casket. So we always use our
Right.
our gently used casket. We're the third.
We
owners.
put a redwood voice kid in in the casket last
Yes.
year.
Yes. And so we have sort of some props that we build rooms around, but each year we do something fresh and new themed. We try not to do the same thing twice.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. We're always looking for old, creepy dolls. If they're antiques or really old, we don't do anything to them. We don't modify them. We just leave them as is, put them on the shelf, dusty and all, because they're awesome.
Yes.
What's the count? Any idea? How
of
many
our
old
dolls?
Yeah.
Of David's dolls.
I
have none.
They're not yours.
They were never mine.
0. How many dolls do you have, David?
I think close to 200 now, but I'm still, if he wants to drop some off, I'm welcome to it.
Please help my husband expand his creepy doll collection.
Yes, they're awesome. They're cool. They
It's just because the kind of fright you can get from that, and the kind of fright that people bring to. You don't have to. It doesn't involve a chainsaw. You don't have to. You just set it out.
We have a room full of them, and you have to walk by them, and they all face you.
Yeah, my wife hates that.
Yeah. I will say that we generally don't go in the building alone. Any of us. Once we have our walls up and some of the props set, David will go in by himself because he's just bizarre.
He's the artist. He sees the art and the artifice.
Yes. Adrian and I, we buddy up. We're like, what time are I'm outside. When are you getting here?
Oh, wow.
And we don't.
Yeah, I haven't had any experience being in the building alone yet.
My daughter and I were there by ourselves, and we heard some stuff.
Are you cool at all talking about any of that?
Yeah, no.
Okay, fine. Cool. Because I heard that's kind of an interesting place to be.
It's a very alive environment. It's not scary.
Yeah.
It's not scary or
menacing.
It's not. There's no menacing anything. It just. I'm a sissy by nature. Like, I don't necessarily go to haunted houses because they terrify me.
That's funny.
I will build one and it's not scary.
Right.
I will teach actors. I will make someone's face look like it fell off, and that's fine with me. I'll, put children in small cages. That's cool too, as long as their parents are okay and the child consents. So I get scared. But even this morning I was there by myself for a little bit with my dog, and we're just sitting there, and she's barking at things that you hear. Things going on around the building. Sometimes you hear running. Sometimes they really like to mess with the plastic and move it.
Okay.
And the more afraid you are, the more noise you're going to hear.
Sure.
I personally have reached kind of a place where I'm like, yeah, that's just there, and I'm making a to-do list, and just like, yep, that's there. And then it gets really loud, and I'm like, I'm going to go outside and wait for everyone else.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Last year I was working alone, and it was very much, hey, I'm here. And I'm like, yep, that's great. I'm just gonna keep on building.
How were they telling you they were there?
Running around in circles.
Okay.
Behind the walls.
The footsteps.
Touching the tarp, checking the tarp. It was.
I understand the back hall back in there was kind of a. Seemed to be a thing.
It gets pretty loud back there. Pretty much the whole building.
Okay.
It's all more so the bigger parts, not the back offices as much.
Okay.
It's kind of. It's not uncomfortable. Like last year, it was very new for me. So I was my daughter and I were there once, and we heard the running, and we were like, yeah, we'll be outside until I called Dave, and I'm like, so that whole me being by myself thing, that's not going to happen. You're going to have to come down here. But this year I've been alone a few times, and even my kids will be like, are the ghosts there? And we're like, our kids are 6 and 7. And so we're like, oh yeah, probably. I mean, well, can they? And we're like, it's just energy. It's just sound.
Yeah.
There's nothing to be afraid. There's nothing scary about it anymore.
Right.
And so even our kids are like, okay.
Well, it seems like they might be particularly protected from things like that too. Just being afraid of things like that. Just
our daughter is 6, and last year she acted in it for the first time, and I will let you know that she is a force.
Really?
She's like in the forest with Janae, Sebastian's mom, and she had on her scary witch makeup, and she's like, Mom, go. I'm fine. Mom, just go. Wow. And I'm like, oh, okay. And our son is neurodivergent, so he finds the haunt to be very overstimulating, and so we don't. pressure him. We give him the option, or he can be off-site, whatever works for him. And he tried it last year, and he can go about 20 minutes, and then it's just too much.
Yeah,
and
sure.
He is part of the reason that we do the first hour as a low sensory walk, because people who are neurodivergent, people who have epilepsy, people who suffer migraines, we turn off our strobe lights, we turn our music way down, we leave the house lights on, and nobody jumps out at you.
Yeah.
We might have actors in the rooms just hanging, as long as they're not eviscerated looking or scary. Chainsaws are not there. And for kids like our kid, who my son will build all day long. He loves to build. But the moment the lights come down and the sounds come on, he's done. Wow, we actually have one animatronic that is air powered. And when he was younger, we would get to the building and he would run to where it was and unplug the air compressor, because he knew that it was going to come on. The air compressor itself was too loud, and then the prop itself would jump up.
Oh, wow.
And he's like, yeah, no. Even before he could talk, he was like,
well, that's great. That's good, like proactive. I'm gonna step in and take charge of this.
Yes. And so, our children are actually named after horror icons.
Vincent Price.
Yeah, Vincent is named after Vincent Price. Annabelle after the doll.
I didn't want to share your names of your children on the air unless it was something, because I knew about Annabelle's name. I did not know his name was Vincent. That's great.
Vincent and Annabelle. Yes.
And I named both of our children.
David named our children.
I threw it out there, and she thought about it. She's like, yeah, that works.
I just grow them. He names them. That's the deal.
He's got to have some part. Right?
No, and our kids will go to, right now they're going to school, and my son, almost every day I hear him go, I have a haunted house. Do you know I have a haunted house? We're building a haunted house. And it's at the old casino. And, and it's just, it's a very exciting time for us. And so I don't know if Vincent will be in it this year. Annabelle has decided she wants to be in it. And so that's great. And I hope that someday our kids will develop their own characters, because that's another thing we allow is we have a safe space where people can be who they are, and there's no pressure, and there's no bullying, there's no meanness, there's no ego. You're not allowed to do those things. This is like our little utopia where we get to build a world that we like once a year, and part of that is it's a safe space to sort of just be who you are. Even if you're boring, you can be just as boring as you want. And with our children, they're growing up in this environment, but we've had so many kids that have come in at like 10, 11, 12 as volunteers, and they still come back every year. And it's like I see them grow and develop. I've lost a couple to college, which is great, and it's a great way to lose them. And so, but they still check in with me every year, and I see them grow into themselves, and that's part of what it's about. Is like, we are, we're small business owners, we're community members. I'm a mom, he's a dad, we have kids, we do that kind of stuff, but this is our art. And so we want other people to bring that. And so we have people that develop their own characters. And, my daughter is talking about, well, I think my character should be this. And, I'm like, we don't do glitter. We're not glitter. She's 6. She's blonde. She's beautiful. She's perky. I don't know how she came out of me. But we nurture that in others. And with the kids and the young adults that we have, we just adore them.
That's wonderful.
Yes. And it's nice to see these individuals grow, become more confident, more outgoing, through the ability of acting and becoming their own character. It's great. And then just see them grow up over the years too. I've had kids go through my haunt years ago, and then they'll come and bring their kids. They're grown up now, so it's like,
that's great.
Yeah, people will say,
full circle.
The Lake Earl haunt. And I'm like, yeah, that's my husband. I married it. Like, I didn't have, I was also really weird and liked all of that macabre stuff. And but David and I are like Barney Nice, but obsessed with, horror movie and art. That's our artistic expression. And so he's the only person I've ever met that was like as nice as me, but also into as much weird stuff as me. And it's just, I don't know, it's just where we have the most fun. But we plan all year around this. We take time off from work. We back burner everything. We put tons of our own money, our own time. And this year, instead of partnering with a single nonprofit, we're going to dedicate each weekend to a different nonprofit.
Oh, wow.
So we have 3 weekends. So we'll be dedicating each one to a different nonprofit. We're still vetting out who we want, but they will be local nonprofits because part of what we do is not only giving back to the community by these kids coming, and adults as well, getting to participate and get some artistic expression, but each year part of our proceeds go to the community in some way to make it to improve it.
When you say partnering with a nonprofit, is it that weekend you're fundraising for that nonprofit?
Basically,
wow.
A portion of the admissions will go directly to that nonprofit.
That's beautiful.
And then we're going to invite them to come and have an information table as well out front, so that they can also do some of their own advertising. And because every nonprofit needs volunteers.
Yep.
And we always, we do this as a labor of love. And a labor of debt and exhaustion, physical pain, and I can't imagine us not doing it.
It sounds like a terrific community too, that you just kind of have ad hoc constructed every year like this around the con. The first hour, you mentioned a way back about the first hour of the haunts being sort of open to folks who might not be, down for the full thing, for whatever reason. Did you get a lot of response?
Yes, we actually, it was nice. There are longtime friends I've had who have never come, who will come to that. And it's almost like you get to look around and see the details, and people really like that because there's a lot of detail in each room that we build.
Oh, yeah.
And so, but we've had, having a child who's a little bit sensitive to things, I also meet other parents, and I'm always like, bring your kid the first hour, And so I've seen kids come through that normally wouldn't be comfortable, and adults come through that would be too scared to come through when it's dark. It's also the scaredy cats, those that are just like, I don't want, and we don't touch you. That's always the number one question. We don't touch you. You can't touch us. If you are ill behaved, you'll be escorted out, and you will not get a refund. I always try to explain, if you're walking through a haunt and you decide to hit an actor, imagine that's a 10-year-old girl.
Oh my God.
Because that's who you're probably going to end up hitting. Because the person that we teach our actors safety, and you always keep a defensible space, and we don't touch on purpose. But people will run into each other, or when people are scared, they have different responses. Dave calls them, what do you call them? Possums.
Oh, possums. Yes, I had my characters. Pretty intimidating.
Yeah.
So
your character is almost 6 foot tall, doll-faced, maniacal maniac with hair down to his waist. It's these linebacker shoulders. And
you ever been hit?
I've never been hit. No.
Okay, good.
No one tries.
Knock on wood, man. Doesn't
Right.
I've had okay. So, yes, last year I had two 12-year-olds drop. They played possum. They just...
Oh, really? Just freeze and go down?
And
oh, my God.
Older teenage girls. And it was great. I stayed in character. I hit the wall with my axe handle, and I glared at them, and I walked on. And they were just shivering in the corner. It's like... but that's the whole point of going to a haunted house for some people, is to get scared.
It's
in a safe environment.
Right.
Because,
where do you think that fascination, that human fascination, of course some people have it more than others, but where do you think that fascination with the macabre comes from?
We don't have enough in our modern lives.
What does that fascination, maybe not where it comes from, but what does it serve?
I think it feeds the ability to feel fear in a way that's completely safe.
Yeah.
When you come to our haunt, that you're going to leave
alive.
Fine.
Yeah.
You're going to have all your body parts. You might
even if we tell you we're taking your
adrenaline.
fingers.
Exactly. It's all in theory.
Right.
So
they talk quite a game out at the haunt.
The horror movie industry, the horror, people are drawn to things. People who bungee jump, they don't actually want to jump off a building and die, but they really want to feel what it's like to jump off a building. So we're sort of the same. People want to feel like what it's like to be in a horror movie, but they don't actually want to die or be chased,
I think there's something really profoundly, a profound psychological. I don't know if it's a salve that you're able to, even in effigy, kind of survive these macabre sorts of situations, and even in that little kind of for pretensies, transcend death in that regard. That's a really
Yes.
profound sensation to have. I don't have it, so that's why I was asking. I'm like,
So you're
I
not
don't
going
need
to
that.
visit,
I-
or will you come during the first hour?
The first haunt I ever went to was last year.
Okay.
I just
okay.
don't do haunts. I don't need that.
How was it?
It was wonderful. It was, and we went back a couple of times and we did the little making of haunt, the ghost investigation spoofy video, and I loved it out there. But that was the first time I'd ever experienced, really firsthand, what you guys do.
Yes. And it's a very intense experience because of the lighting and the sound. It's not even so much the actors, because when he started, it was very small, and it was just his family, and his friends. And it's grown into something bigger and bigger and bigger. But we always think of it as we want each room to be able to stand alone without a person in it and still be uncomfortable. And I guess our goal is to make people uncomfortable.
Yes, if I can't scare them, I will mess their senses and I will get their attention somehow. I do lighting, sound, I have a system down. So back to the fascination with macabre. I find a balance between life and death, beauty in both. Some people think skeletons are disturbing. I think skeletons they're part of us. There's nothing wrong with plastic skeleton. But here we are. We have zombies and skeletons. But yet at home we have flowers and everything else mixed in, and my old concrete tombstones mixed in the garden, flowers growing by them. So I always have had a fascination with the macabre, and
but it's more than like
balance.
the transcending of death for you. It's a way to kind of center yourself in the human experience.
It is to build and draw out these things, come up with, because we build a lot of our own props and do some elaborate ones. I have a female skeleton I worked on a long time for. Finally got her right. It took me like 7 tries, and I couldn't buy the thing online. Couldn't find it. So I just came up with an elaborate way to get her done. She's just a bloody skeleton, top torso, but she came out good, and she's one of my favorite props. I can't replace her. I mean, I could make her again probably, but the point being is.
The majority
so much
of our
fun.
stuff is not
It's
replaceable.
so much
because
fun.
even when we get something that we buy, we customize it.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
And we do latex work, and we do foam work, and we have life-size sculpture of the creature from the Black Lagoon and the mummy. And because Dave also loves classic horror, so we always have the classic horror as well as classic slashers involved in the haunt. And some people think they're campy, but it's like part of the lineage of how we get from where we are today with all these different Scream and all of this stuff. People know these, but Bela Lugosi and all of that original Nosferatu was like where it was at. It was terrifying to people. We watch it today and we giggle because it's so ridiculous.
It's still kind of creepy.
But the thought of like waking up to somebody drinking your blood is uncomfortable for most people.
That is
Most people.
Most people. I leave room for everyone. Those that enjoy.
The haunt's a safe place.
The haunt is a safe place. It is, and it's what I enjoy is the kids come in very introverted and very unsure, and then pretty soon they're like, "Hey, you can't act that way. We don't do that here," and they will actually self-police each other, and then they come in, and then now they're grown. And they bring their friends, and they're so proud to be a part of it. And I'm proud that they are a part of it.
That's
and
beautiful.
and they're there all the time. And it's like we just really become a family each season, and we get more people and more people. And we have had very little controversy internally or conflicts internally. We've been very lucky and very blessed with nice people who like to also scare people.
That's fantastic. The now this year with the fire and Pack Power having their staging area back there in the parking lot, they're just getting out of there now. Actually, they've come a long way. Most of the generators are gone. There was just that one trailer yesterday in there that I saw in their security table. But the has it been a shortened like timeline this year to get ready for the haunt?
Yes, we actually we started building 3 weeks late.
Oh,
and
wow.
So
okay.
we you would think we wouldn't need all that much time, but we also have to earn enough income at our business to live.
You got to pace yourself.
My kids insist on eating like 3 times a day. It's really needy. And the power company also wants to be paid for the electricity at my home.
Well, they should have gotten out of the parking lot 3 weeks ago, right?
Maybe we could trade. But so we had to actually design our maze this year because we didn't know if we'd have the front. So we designed it. I laid it out so that we could enter from the back or the front because we didn't know which we were going to have, and we just built and like fingers and toes crossed. But at the same time, like this has been such a scary community experience. You know, seeing our home on fire because that's what the forest is. Dave and I. We have 2 green thumbs, you know, we love to grow plants and we have ponds and fish and so we're camping every summer. We're those people. So when you look around and you see all the forest burning and our home, this has been a nice break from that to just go inside and start building and not have to think about the scary. But we were fully prepared to enter from the back if the fire stayed and the power wasn't able to come back on. And actually Pacific Power they filled that entire front parking lot. And so we would look out the window as we're like setting severed heads up, and here's all these dudes out front, and we're just like, don't mind us, guys, we're just doing our thing, you know. And they were so polite and so kind whenever we did interact. And we just told everybody that came to volunteer to help build, I'm like, just don't go out the front doors, please, because that's not our business.
There's something else happening out there.
We'll leave them alone, you know.
So how many volunteers do you need? You said you brought about like 50 or so total.
That's
ideal.
this pie in the sky number.
Right.
Pie in the sky would be 50 a night. Actors.
Okay.
And you don't have to be a good actor. Now, I am a terrible actor.
I want to be clear though, when you're asking for volunteers, you're asking for volunteers for the whole experience, right? Not just the acting, but building and tear down and everything.
We've had a crew show up to build, and we're making great time. We could use some more help with building.
Okay.
But we're more towards the fine tuning and the lighting at this point, and that's a little harder to teach. That's something else we do as we build. We teach.
Sure.
And so next year, the kids that we teach the new kids or the new adults. So we do need some help with building still. More than anything, we're looking for actors now.
Wow, okay.
And an actor means alive-ish.
Yes.
And not that smelly. And able to show up when they say they're going to show up.
Okay.
So all the way to...
That's a moderately set bar, I think.
We try to keep it reasonable. And then we also like to have the full-on extroverted, you know, actor. And people can come up with their own characters. Dave and I get final approval. You know, Huggy Wuggy's a big deal. We're not that interested in Huggy Wuggy, this blue creature that bites the heads off people. The kids
I have
think
never
it's great.
heard of Huggy Wuggy.
Oh, yes.
Bryce is busted. Bryce knows Huggy Wuggy. I don't know.
It is... it's terrible. But the little kids and the tweens are very, very talk about it. And... So, you know, your character is subject to approval, but if someone wanted to be creative, Sebastian's built his own character. His mom has built her own character. They literally chunk out their time to be at our haunt every year. And it's like, thank you. You know, it's pretty amazing. And, you know, Savannah made Stitch is her clown, terrifying lady.
Ring mistress thing.
Just, I don't know. People are they want more of her meanness. She's not nice. That's what is my favorite part. Is she's not nice to them, and they're just like, yes, please, thank you. Would you yell at me some more?
Wow.
Oh, I laugh at their suffering.
Yes.
Wow.
Some of them don't like it, but most of them think it's very funny.
Yes.
That's neat.
Yes.
The teenage girls who I laugh at their suffering, they're like, no, stop it.
And teenage boys are the best because they are they posture.
Oh,
and they're like,
sure, right?
and they cry.
Yeah, I shake my cane at them, they're done.
They're usually our possums or the teenage boys.
Oh,
and then you get some inebriated individuals, which if they're too inebriated, they are not allowed in because they don't control themselves.
No.
But you have these big scary men, and they put their wives in front of them and make the wife walk first. And I am the first to mock them for that. I'm like, really? You realize
I'm bringing up the rear.
If you're in the back, they're likely to get you from behind. So then, it's great. We don't allow children who cannot walk themselves through the haunt. If you want to carry your child's crying through the haunt, that's not this place. Don't come here. We will shame you and send you on your way, and we will not refund you. No, you don't. But there are littles like my daughter who love this stuff. We took her in 2021. We didn't open in 2021, but the Brookings Haunt was open. We took her through there, and she walks through to every actor. Hi, I'm Annabelle. Hi. Oh, you're so pretty. Oh, you're scary. And it's like
wonderful.
She just didn't.
It
didn't register with her to be afraid.
The artifice.
So there are kids that really enjoy that stuff. And so if your child is one that enjoys it, bring them. If your child doesn't enjoy it, don't bring them. We have no desire to give a negative experience to anybody.
Right. So let's go over. Let's just wrap it up. Let's go over when you will be available for volunteer signing up, and then also if you've got the dates for the haunt. I wouldn't mind sharing those.
Let me.
So the volunteer there's ones today, or is that
today.
Yes. Today, yeah, okay.
Today.
5 to
from
7.
5 to 7.
Where at the casino?
2500.
The old
Howland
casino.
Hills, the old casino. And please come to the back, not the front.
Okay.
As Pacific Power is.
You won't be able to get in the front if they still have their thing, right?
Nope, you shouldn't be able to. But where there's a will, there's a way. People inevitably find themselves where they shouldn't be.
And Adele Nord it.
Yes, I like it. And then Wednesday night, 5:30 to 7:30.
Okay.
And Saturday all day from 10 to 4.
Okay.
We'll be there. And so come to the back of the building. We will have our waivers. We'll have our information packet. You can let us know what days you are available. We are going to be haunting this year. Let me pull up my calendar so that I don't forget what days it is, because I'm nervous. The radio's scary.
We start on Friday the 13th.
Yes.
Oh, that's
Perfect.
Isn't that fabulous?
That's just
So opening night's Friday, October 13th.
beautiful.
And we're open Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So the 13th through the 15th, 20th through the 22nd. And then we stay open from the weekend until Halloween happens. So it'll be the 27th through the 31st. So we'll be open Monday the 30th and Tuesday the 31st.
You're looking at like what, 10
11.
days? 10 days? 11 days?
11 days
Wow.
of fun.
Yeah, of haunt.
Fun and fear.
That's wonderful. I can't wait for Friday the 13th. That's beautiful.
Yes.
Did you just first time you saw that on the calendar, you had to have gone like, yeah, right.
Oh yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Yes. And the one time Halloween was on a Saturday was 2020, and we were like, no.
Yeah, 7 more years.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, thank you very much for coming in and sharing all of this with us. JoAnn and David Holcomb, of course, the forces behind David's Haunted Manor. Is there anything that you'd like to leave our listeners with, or something I didn't ask you want to make sure gets said?
As far as actors go, I mean, we're not particular. We would like a few older actors, actually.
I would like adult-sized people,
We
please.
would.
Real? Okay.
Because
a granny in
We
particular.
need an older
lady.
an elder stateswoman to
Yeah.
play Granny in
Granny.
our Granny's Diner.
Yes.
Okay.
Of cannibalism. Free range cannibalism, because we are
You're organic.
We're
You're all like,
responsible.
Free-ish range.
Yes.
That's good.
Free trade as well. Yeah. All of our cages are tastefully
Nice.
sized for the children and
Good. They've
adults
got
we put them in.
Because you got to get the organic stamp or it doesn't work, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
and,
funny.
Pre-sale tickets will be available at a discounted rate. So it's $10 for standby, $8 pre-sale, and there's no pre-sale for the first hour, the sensory walk.
Okay.
That's it's not a long line. It's not like, the hordes descend upon it. So that'll just be $10 at the door.
And where will pre-sale tickets be available?
If you go to our social media, David's Haunted Manor at Facebook.
Okay.
We have our Haunt Pay link there, and it will be on our poster, which will be released later today.
Okay,
So we'll have
okay.
our poster out, and it's got one of those little white square things that
It's a code thing you scan.
It's Adri. She does the
She does
the QR
kind of-
codes,
QR
yeah.
codes.
She,
Yeah.
she informed me I am not hip or with it.
Have you ever
for the-
used a QR code?
Once.
Okay, that's more than me.
It was at Safeway to get a good deal on sale meat. Like really, that's the extent.
They had your back against the wall.
I was like, I have to do the app, and I was very uncomfortable. I am not a technologically advanced human.
I feel you. I totally feel you. Thank you, JoAnn and David. I cannot wait for Friday the 13th. Sebastian, anything you want to add?
No, nothing that wasn't already said.
All right. Well, I'm going to add one more thing from Sebastian, and that's the expanded announcement,
promo,
the promo with the skit in it as well. So we'll play that now. But thank you very much for coming in and sharing with us, and I can't wait for this year's haunt.
Thank you.
All right. KFUG Community Radio, 20 minutes away from 11. Here's some more about David's Haunted Manor.
From inside the house. Ghost Whackers. Ghost Whackers, you called?
Is this, yeah, this is Sandy.
Yeah,
I have a problem at 2500 Howland Hill Road.
Yeah, all right.
Can you help?
We'll be there soon. Thanks for calling. Hey guys, it's Professor Woe here on the scene with Grandmaster Roz. What do we know about the perp?
Well, it's either a Category 1 freewheeling phantom or a Type 5 bitter apparition, by my research.
I think it's a rank 4 amorphous blob myself.
You always think it's an amorphous blob.
Well, let's get in there and prove me wrong.
Whoa!
You called?
Look, that's clearly a Class 9 tricky devil beneath Belial from the 9th circle of hell.
Oh no, the floors are unstable. Run! David's Haunted Manor is back, and it needs more bodies. Are you interested in scaring teens and adults in a socially acceptable setting? Has Halloween always been your favorite time of year? Well, David's Haunted Manor wants you. If you're interested in volunteering at David's Haunted Manor for the 2023 season, contact us at davidshauntedmanor@gmail.com or message us on our social media pages at David's Haunted Manor. You do not need to be available for the whole season in order to volunteer. You must be 10 years old or older in order to volunteer with us. Actors, builders, and other volunteers are needed now. That contact information again is email at davidshauntedmanor@gmail.com and on our social media pages at David's Haunted Manor. Come be a part of the scare.